Is this on? Okay. I talk really loud, so. But hi, I'm Rebecca Godwin. I've designed my major as sports and media management, and I first want to say a couple of thank yous. Thank you, Dr. Coates, my economics advisor, Dr. Moffat, my American Studies advisor.
All right, now where can we get those advisors to raise your hand so we can see who you are? Thank you very much. Okay.
Carrie, my INDS advisor. Thank you so much. You've been a huge support, and I really couldn't have done this without you all. I also want to point out my parents, Byron and Janice.
Thank you.
My boyfriend, Ben. And my friend Julie, who's also presenting. And they were on the swim team with me, so it's a lot of fun. Okay. The 2006 Super Bowl produced over 500 tons of carbon dioxide pollution. The 2-week span of the 2004 Olympics in Athens also produced over 500,000 tons of carbon dioxide. The typical NFL stadium, which usually holds around 78,000 people, will usually generate around 65,000 kilowatt hours of electricity, 35,000 tons of natural gas, and with people driving, over 232 metric tons of carbon dioxide pollution will be produced. As you can see here, here are two stadiums. On top is Cowboys Stadium, and on the bottom is new Meadowlands Stadium, home of the New York Giants and New York Jets. Both of these were built recently within the past 2 years, and they claim to be environmentally friendly stadiums and two of the leading greenest venues in the country today for the NFL. So with all that information, I decided to comprise these two questions. How does the Cowboys Stadium and new Meadowlands Stadium compare in the application of sustainable design and practices, and what strategies do they implement to influence their target market? Before going any further, I want to explain a couple terms just in case you're not aware what they mean. To be green means to generally include a minimal impact of design and construction in a building on the environment. Also, it stresses the importance of energy efficiency, resource conservation, and healthy interiors of the building. It can also be used interchangeably with environmentally friendly. To be sustainable means meeting the present needs of society without compromising any future generations to meet their own needs. So my main purpose, like I said, game day in sports and professional sports is huge. It really does affect the environment more so than what people would think. There's been a recent revitalization of the green movement. A huge trend right now is people want to go green. They want to see green stamps of approval on products and buildings. Professional sports have a huge following. Hundreds of thousands of people will go to a game on Sunday or just watch it, so they can really be influenced if their chosen team is incorporating these green values. And then finally, I want to validate if these stadiums actually are sustainable. So my first key discipline was marketing and economics. The professional sports industry is a $22 billion industry, and the NFL makes up about $8 billion of it. So it really is huge for the American industry. Businesses and corporations, they have a societal responsibility, and part of that is green marketing. And green marketing means whether the packaging of a product is changed, the way it's advertised, such as using virtual advertising instead of handing out papers, so that's hurting the environment, and then also the design and construction, and in this case, a stadium is the product. Both of these stadiums have implemented green marketing techniques, and here they are. Well, first of all, new Meadowlands Stadium is not LEED certified. They tried to be, but they were just a couple points away, but they did not meet the certification. So instead, they signed a memorandum with the EPA outlining their promise, and a lot of it went well with what it took to be LEED certified. They have an agreement with Greenmark. It's an environmental marketing firm, so they find them different sponsors, different environmental sponsors, but they have not released any yet. And then finally, Waste Management takes care of their recycling and trash, which is huge for the stadium. Cowboys Stadium wanted to follow the National Environmental Performance Track. It's an EPA program, but unfortunately a couple months before the stadium opened, it was shut down. So the Cowboys Stadium, they haven't done anything since. They haven't signed an agreement with the EPA, but they still have made a promise to be environmentally friendly. and they have partnered with Totally Green by installing one of the first applications of a food waste decomposing machine in America. And that machine has reduced costs tremendously for the stadium and their carbon footprint, since the food waste isn't going to a landfill. My other key discipline was American Studies. Before President Obama was elected, President W. Bush had the lowest attention to the environment and environment awareness. So President Obama really wanted to make the public aware of these problems, and he's promised and he's even passed a couple things since he's been in presidency. The green movement started in the 1970s, and it's been evident ever since, but there's just been a resurgence of it because there's been the global warming and climate changing scares, all the tsunamis and all the major environmental weather things happening in the world. It's really scaring people, so people really want to see corporations taking an extra step forward to be environmentally friendly. There's a huge sentimental value of sports in America. Families will rearrange their Sunday and Monday activities just to watch a sports game. They'll even go as far as getting tattoos of a mascot on their body. So, you know, these teams really do impact people more than you think they would. And then finally, these teams and stadiums essentially are businesses. So they want to meet the public's needs. And right now the public's need is valuing the environment. So incorporating it is very important. My methodologies. I was first able to go up to the new Meadowlands Stadium and take a tour. I was also able to talk to the CEO, Mark Lamping, courtesy of Dr. Coates, and he provided me some great information that I couldn't find, you know, on the tour and a literature search. So he definitely was a big help. For my statistical analysis, I compared the old stadiums of each to the new stadiums and how much energy they are saving and how much electricity they're saving and just all the array of environmental impact that they have reduced. Also a cultural analysis, reading blogs about the public's opinion, and for the most part it's been really positive and they love the fact that their stadiums are choosing to do this. And then finally a literature search. So my first strategy of integration was complex and multi-causal explanation. Marketing is a huge part for a business. An average person will see about 3,000 ads a day, so marketing is really essential for a business to prove a point and get out what they want to say. Culture Technologies is an auditing firm, and in 2008 in a preseason Cowboys game, they audited the behavior-based. They did a behavior-based audit, and they asked different fans, like, why did you throw this can on the ground versus throwing in a recycling bin, or why did you throw paper, you know, on the ground versus in the trash can? And a lot of it was because, oh, there wasn't a recycling bin in a convenient area. So after that audit, they've, in the new stadium, strategically placed recycling bins in the tailgating areas. They've run ads on the Jumbotron, and they've also rewarded fans who do recycle with Cowboy paraphernalia. So they're really trying to show the public and understand why they're behaving in such ways. Also with this, if these stadiums want to be sustainable, they have to be influencing the public. It's not just a one-time stamp of approval. You know, we have certain aspects of the stadium that can help the environment. They need to make sure they're influencing these hundreds of thousands of people so they can continue to work in green ways. My second strategy was checks and balances. Each stadium's costs have reduced tremendously. With the Cowboys machine that decomposes the food waste is huge, and also in the new Meadowlands Stadium, they have sensor lighting, so whenever you walk into a room, that's the only time a light's on. The public, like I said, is giving a positive reaction. So finally, these are my conclusions. I found that new Meadowlands Stadium is sustainable. Their partnership with Greenmark and Waste Management are very vital part of it. And then the fact that they didn't earn the LEED certification, but they still went out of their way to sign an EPA agreement really shows that they do care about it, and they're not just saying, no, we're a sustainable stadium. They have the proof. And the aspects that are really big are the new stadium is over double in size and runs on 30% less energy than the old one. And also they have fan and education awareness programs, and they promote green events, and they just have their public to be aware. For the Cowboys Stadium, they do incorporate the green practices with the green machine and the advertising and the audits, but there's just some aspects that really the negatives counteract the positives. The monthly utility bill is huge. The amount of energy it takes is equal to the amount of, in a year, is equal to the amount of the energy used by Santa Monica, a city in California. The stadium construction disrupts the native ecosystem. They've even done research that future species will become endangered because of the way the stadium is constructed. It does not foster to local economic development or transportation. It's virtually impossible to walk, bike, or take public transit. You have to drive to the stadium the way it's designed. And finally, HKS, the designer of the stadium, is also very known for its sustainable designs as well as normal design projects. And it's not one of their green projects.
Yeah.
And you can all look at this while I'm answering questions. They're just some stats that I couldn't say.
I have a question.
Julie?
Can I go first? Okay. What does LEED stand for, and why didn't they get certified?
LEED is Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, and it's the U.S. Green Building Council. They designed a green building certification system. So basically, there's a 100-point scale, and you need at least 40 points to earn the certification. And then there's different levels once you are certified. But they were just 1 or 2 points away because in front of the suites is a glass. And in order to get the certification, they had the way the glass was binded, the ceiling they used would have obstructed the view for the suite members. And these people are paying up to $1 million sometimes. So they just didn't want to compromise. And they felt what they were doing is enough, and just because they don't have the LEED certification, that name on their stadium, it doesn't mean they're still doing their part. Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw the statistics that there was, with one stadium, a 30% reduction in electricity use. Were they also able to measure the reduction in trash produced by the fans? Did you say after a Ravens game there was something like 30 tons of trash?
Yeah.
Are they able to measure any kind of reduction in trash output because of recycling efforts or whatever? Does it have an effect on fan behavior?
Yeah, well, since the new Meadowlands Stadium just opened up in 2010, that's when they first started, so there really hasn't been an exact number of what they've done this year since it is so new. Mm-hmm. But when I went on the tour, I remember the tour guy said, similar to the Ravens, even after a game and the recycling and the trash is out, workers will hand pick out the recycling. So it really is, they're really trying to get personal with it. They're not just expecting the fans to recycle. So they're kind of like double checking to make sure.
Is there a job in this for you?
I mean, if there is one, I guess, yeah.
Isn't this a marketable skill that there's a need for now? Think about stadiums throughout the United States.
Yeah, because they actually are building, I just saw a stadium in LA, and it's going to be the first LEED certified NFL stadium. And if you look online, it just looks crazy, and they hope to get the certification. I don't know when it's going to be built or how long, but...
Well, you may have your job all set up. If you don't, remember, we can design jobs where there is a need. And you have a head start for most people. So, yes, one more question.
Just one clarification. Did you say that the average person views 3,000 ads per day? Did I hear that stat correctly?
Yeah, you'll see 3,000 ads, I guess on a shirt, like a Nike sign, or
any kind of symbol, not just a banner ad.
Not like an actual ad.
I feel so manipulated. 3,000 ads per day.
You are manipulated.